Well, good morning everybody, or at least it's morning here, and I can hear a little frog in the back of my throat. Over on the Facebook page Live Art Journaling and Self-Development, which is an extremely busy and active creative group, you can find the link below. We have been creating this lovely junk journal throughout January 2020, and I thought I'd have a little play in it. Sometimes I just want to show off a fabulous product, and this particular paint by Golden, which is a beautiful iridescent gold, is just the most beautiful thing that I very rarely use because it's so beautiful. So I thought I'd give it a go today. I'm also going to blend up this project with some old papers that I've got lying around, some things that I've wiped my brush off on, some old tea-stained paper and some bits and pieces. Essentially what I wanted to do with this product is play with how can I make the best of this beautiful product that I have with this gold paint. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover that page. I've got some music paper in the background. I'm just going to completely cover it with gold paint. I really want to make sure that the main feature of this performance, so to speak, I want to make sure that the performance of this piece, the main feature, is that gold paint. So I rub it all over the page, and then I decide actually what I want it to do is flow into the page that I had before. So I just put some dots and I just let that paint kind of continue just a little bit, as if the gold has leaked. So there's a big trend at the moment to play with old papers and create what's called a Franken paper, taken from the name Frankenstein. And essentially what this is taking a load of your old bits and pieces and ripping them up and sticking them onto another piece of paper. So, sounds a bit useless, doesn't it? My husband always says to me, so basically you're ripping up one piece of paper in order to make another. Yep. That's exactly what we're going to do. For this particular type of project, I've done it with a number of different things, and for its best advantage, what I suggest you do is keep the majority of your background, your ripped up bits of paper, fairly neutral. You don't want too much pattern, you don't want too much contrasting, blaring colours. That's different. You know, you can make a collage paper essentially exactly like that, but this Franken paper, we're going to put other layers on it, and this first layer with all these bits and pieces of paper, we need it to be fairly neutral. So you'll see that in my choice of papers that I've got there, the majority are kind of this pale cream colour, and then I've got splodges of gold, a little tiny bit of a dusting of pink in it. I've got a little bit of a dusting of green, but nothing too bright, nothing too severe. So first layer done, and then what I did is head to the sewing machine, and all I did is I sewed some running stitches up and down, and you certainly don't need to do this. And then I chose, after I'd done those running stitches up and down, I just did some zigzag stitches around certain patches of this paper, this Franken paper. And it really gives it a load of texture. I'm actually only going to be using a very small bit of this, but of course, you know, I'm going to put it into my stash box and use it later on. So in my Franken paper, I've got various different colours, and I wanted to choose 2 colours that complemented it. So I've got this green gold by Golden and the teal by Golden. And I'm going to use the flat end of a brush to make some really simple mark making, literally some dashes across my page, using exactly the same mark in both colours. And then what you're going to see me doing is using various different techniques with my gel pens to just enhance those marks. So here comes the pen work. What I do to start off with is I take a black gel pen and I choose to go round some of, certainly not all, of these dot dashes. They're a bit like Morse code, aren't they, really? Perhaps that would be something fun to do, to create a hidden code maybe. Anyway, I go round and round some of these with the black, not all of them. Then I take my white gel pen, and my favourite is the Uniball Signo Broad, and I just make some tiny little dashes with the white on the blue lines, and then I take my pink gel pen, a Jelly Moon pen, and I pop some little dashes all over the green marks. So what I need to do now is I need to find my little bit, my little treasure, my little tiny circle of love that I'm going to pop into the middle of my page. And this really is a very simple page. I teach in my classes, when we're going to use a section of our work, I always teach to construct a viewfinder out of black card. And in this case, I need a circle viewfinder because I want to find my little circle that I'm going to use as my focal point. So I kind of just push it around the page and I wait until I find the little bit that I love. And this bit really is, it's such a little moment of joy. You've got those blue speckles and a bit of green and a bit of blue. It's just got everything in it. So I draw round the inside of my circle and cut it out. So of course the simplest bit from this point on would be if I just took that circle and stuck it on, but I want it to really stand out. So the first thing that I do is take some Distress Oxide and just buff it around the edges, just to give it a little bit of shadow so that when I pop it on my page it pops. And then rather than just sticking this into the centre of my page, rather than just putting it onto that gold, what I do is I create a central mark with my pink gel pen, and then using my ruler I make a star pattern, just, you know, lines going all over the page, reaching into that dot. and that dot is going to be where the centre of my circle is going to sit. So it's almost like, I don't know, maybe like a sun, like it's sending out these sun rays. And then I head to an old book that I've got next to me, and I was looking for a word that kind of resembled this page. And for me, the word was simply. Sometimes we can get really bogged down in our work by creating lots and lots of background and lots of texture. And actually, there's a great benefit to just coming back to something being very simple and small and beautiful. It's been such fun to do this project, to spend time making something very small and selecting the bit that I needed from it. I hope you'll have a go, and I hope you'll come over and see us on the Facebook page. Until then, have a great night.